We love using credit card points and miles to escape the cold weather and head south for the winter. In today's episode, we're diving into a couple of recent trips we've taken south of the border and how you can do it too with the help of credit card rewards. Welcome to Points Talk with the Travel Mom Squad. Hey, I'm Alex.
And I'm Pam, Alex's mom.
And I'm Jess. Let's talk points. I recently returned from a trip to Mexico with my husband. Alex and Pam literally just got back last night from a trip to Roatán, Honduras. And so this is just another example of how points and miles can, let us escape the winter blues a little bit, go somewhere sunny and warmer. And so we are going to talk all about how we made these luxury trips happen all with points and miles. So I will kick it off first. For my birthday, I told my husband, I want to go to San Miguel de Allende in Mexico. And he was like, what? he was like, where do you want to go? Because, normally we are talking about Cabo or Cancun. And so a couple of years ago, I saw this cute little city on Instagram. And I was like, I have to go there. It looks so cute and charming. And then coincidentally, Hyatt opened a boutique hotel there. It is part of the Hyatt Unbound collection. And so I was like, perfect. We can fly there and stay for $0 at this luxury Hyatt boutique hotel. The flights from Houston are actually super convenient. And so it is a little colonial era city about 4 hours north of Mexico City. Not a super easy way to get there because there is no airport in San Miguel de Allende. The closest airport is called Querétaro. I hope I pronounced that correctly. The airport code is QRO. It is about 55 miles from San Miguel de Allende. It took us about 90 minutes to get there from the airport. And so we flew from Houston to Querétaro. It is just a 2-hour flight from Houston. I think we were in the air for less, it's 2 hours door gate to gate. And so I think we were in the air for less than 2 hours. So if you are in Houston, super convenient, easy, long weekend getaway. We flew on United, but we actually booked it through Air Canada. So Air Canada and United are both part of Star Alliance. You can often find United flights for cheaper through Air Canada. It was only 10,000 Air Canada miles per person each way. Taxes were about $218 per person round trip. Taxes are always a little bit higher when you're flying internationally. And so I thought that was a steal. I love booking United through Air Canada because A, it's cheaper, B, more banks transfer to Air Canada. Only Chase transfers to United. And y'all know I don't like using my Chase points for flights. I like using my Chase points for Hyatt. And so I was able to transfer from American Express to Air Canada and book that way. Like I said, we stayed at Numu Boutique Hotel. So cute. It was celebrating its second anniversary while we were there. And so it's only been open for 2 years. It's so clean and still looks new. It's in great condition. It is a Category 6 Hyatt. And so award nights will range from between 21 to 29,000 points a night. It was standard pricing while we were there. So we paid 75,000 Hyatt points plus $0 for our 3 nights there. I think the cash rates were around $800 a night. And so really good value. Yeah, really good value for those points. It is a really great location. It's on this cute little cobblestone street, but it is across the street from the Rosewood. And if you know Rosewoods, they're very pricey. And so the fact that I stayed for $0 at this hotel that is directly across the street from the Rosewood, where people are probably paying like $2,000 a night to stay there, was kind of cool. So a great deal. We arranged transportation through the hotel just because when I'm flying into somewhere new and I'm having to drive in a foreign country 90 minutes away, I'm not going to just gamble on yeah, this one looks good.
I'll just take a taxi.
Yeah.
Well, and
there were.
you can you can do the basics in speaking Spanish. Does Ted speak Spanish?
We both speak enough to get by.
Yeah.
But we're not, neither of us are fluent, but we got a lot of really good practice on our Spanish. I will say that more people speak Spanish there than like if you go to Cabo or Cancun, everyone is just speaking English to you. You don't have to worry about it at all. More people speak Spanish in San Miguel de Allende, but if you don't speak any Spanish, you would still be fine. Enough people speak English, but it was kind of fun to practice our Spanish, and people automatically speak Spanish to you first, and then if you say, oh, I only speak English, then they will reply in English, but it's kind of like the default is everyone just speaks Spanish. So that was kind of fun for us. We both took Spanish in high school and college. And so kind of fun to get to practice with that. But yeah, so we arranged transportation through the hotel. They were there when we got out of immigration and customs. It was $130 each way for both of us. Private transportation. I thought that wasn't bad considering it's a 90-minute drive. So I thought that it was reasonable. Like I said, you can find cheaper alternatives. Bahia Go Shuttle is one that I've heard recommended. We wanted something that was just like a private car to take us straight to the hotel. So when you pay $0 for your hotel, you can pay $130 for your private transportation. Numu, like I said, great location. It is a block away from this huge park. We did not have any kids with us, but I do think San Miguel de Allende is very kid friendly. If you did want to go there with your kids, Numu, we booked a king room for our standard room. They also have a 2-queen option. And so you could fit a family of 4 in the 2-queen standard room. Like I said, all the streets are cobblestone. I would not bring a stroller there. If you're okay baby wearing or toddler wearing, then I think you would be good to go. A stroller would be such a pain there. But otherwise, super kid friendly. They have a heated rooftop pool. The weather in San Miguel de Allende they have a very temperate climate. And so it never gets super hot. It's a little chilly at nights and early in the mornings, and then it warms up during the day, but never gets super hot, even in the summer. And so a lot of the restaurants are outdoors or rooftop. Like every building has a rooftop restaurant on it, basically. And so it's really fun to go sit on the rooftops and eat your dinner and look at the gorgeous views of the city. Numu has a rooftop hotel. It's heated, would be really fun. I mean, it doesn't have like water slides
You
or
mean
a
a
splash.
rooftop pool?
Yeah, a rooftop pool.
Oh.
Yeah, a rooftop pool. It's basic, but it would be fun for kids to swim. There's amazing views from their rooftop. They have a rooftop restaurant as well. We had dinner there our first night. They have a dog named Poncho. That's like the hotel dog. He has his own Instagram account. And it's funny because my husband doesn't really have social media. Like he doesn't go comment on our posts or like our posts. But as soon as he found out Poncho had an Instagram account, he started following him. And now he regularly goes on Instagram to check in on Poncho.
That's how.
But
And what's funny is you guys are cat people, so Poncho really won your hearts.
we love dogs. We just don't want to have a dog of our
Yeah.
own. Yeah, we love. So he was the cutest little dog. And the other morning, I heard Ted open Instagram, and I heard our reel. Like I heard an audio from a reel we had just posted. And I was like, oh, are you watching our reel? And he was like, no, I'm trying to find Poncho.
That's hilarious.
So
Is
apparently,
Molly like, I need to go meet Poncho?
we actually they sell like little stuffed ponchos that you can buy and take home. And so we bought her one and brought it home as her souvenir. So
Cute.
she got that. But yeah, we would like take videos of us petting him or like just of him and send them to her while we were gone. And so she was like, what's Poncho doing now? Like she cared much more about Poncho than missing us or what we were up to. And so, yeah, so that was kind of funny. They had an amazing globalist breakfast. Like y'all know that Hyatt Regency Huntington Beach is my favorite globalist breakfast. This one might be a close second.
Whoa.
It was so good. If you go, you have to get the San Miguel style eggs. It's kind of like huevos rancheros, but amazing. I got it I got it my first morning and I was like, that's it. I can't try anything else because this is so good. So I got it all 3 mornings. By the time we were checking out, the waiter knew our order for sure. It's a boutique hotel. It's not very big. And so most mornings we were the only people at breakfast. It doesn't feel, it just feels like this little like serene oasis in the middle of this cute, charming town. Never felt crowded. Service was great. I plan to go back. It was just great. And like I said, San Miguel de Allende, super family friendly, would totally bring Molly back there. There's so much culture. It's very like artsy vibe. It's like there's art galleries. The food is amazing. The architecture is amazing. And so it's just somewhere to go. I think 3 nights was the perfect amount of time to spend there. There's not a ton to do, but everything is walkable. We walked everywhere. And, you just pop into a coffee shop that has a rooftop terrace and you enjoy your cappuccino. And then you like go stroll through an art gallery. And then you walk through a park. And then you like go get a churro and sit in the park and watch. Like, it's just like one of those cute little like colonial era towns that you just kind of take it easy and like experience the culture. And so I really loved it and would totally go back.
What surprised me was how cheap the food was. Like, you like get room service and have them bring you a latte, and it was like way cheaper than any latte you would have gotten
They
at
so
Starbucks.
it was the prices are so reasonable there. Like we got churros from this place every night and they were the equivalent of $1. That's the other thing. I'm glad you brought that up. You do need pay. Like a lot of places are cash only and you do want to get pesos. They don't take US dollars as readily as somewhere like Cabo or Cancun does. We got pesos from the airport when we landed from an ATM. And so it's not difficult to do, but the prices are so reasonable. So this is a boutique luxury hotel we're staying at. They had WhatsApp and I said, can I order rooms? Can I just order things via WhatsApp for room service? And they say yes, which I appreciated because I hate calling anyone. And so one night we were in the hotel room and I messaged them and I said, "Can I get an espresso martini via room service?" And they were like, "Sure. How many would you like?" And I was like, "Just one." So they bring it up. It was like $9, which for an espresso martini is dirt cheap. And for an espresso martini via room service. So I was like, dang, it was our last night. I was like, dang, I wish I would have known that it was so cheap. And yeah, like I would get an iced latte in the afternoon delivered via room service. It was like $3.
I have FOMO. I want to go there. I'm thinking another TMS trip.
You sold her on it was the lattes and the
The churros.
No, no,
No,
no.
it was the churros.
It was the room service lattes and espresso martinis.
Yeah, Pam, really. No, but Pam, you could get like chips and guac delivered via room service and it would probably be $5, And so
It was really
really,
the churros that sold her. And
yeah.
when you were talking, for you listening, not watching on YouTube, my mom's at my house right now. So we're recording this together. And I was just watching when you start talking about, oh, you just grab this and you walk down here and then you take a seat here with your churro and you people watch. I could see her
The
expression
wheels.
was, okay, I'm sold. I'm there. Cause it reminds you a little bit of, I mean, I haven't been there, but what I'm picturing is the kind of the idea of like you go to Europe and you just wander and you kind of just
Yeah.
get lost.
Yeah.
You don't really have a plan of where you're going and what you're doing. You're just kind of letting the roads take you and
Yes.
yeah, just getting lost in your travels. And that's like a really magical part about traveling.
Yeah. And it's just like the streets, it's just so quaint, It's like all the buildings are painted different colors and there's flowers everywhere. I don't know. It was like super, super cute little town that I would totally go back to. I was actually talking to Alex and Pam about this because for me, it's easy. Houston, there's a direct flight. For somewhere where you don't have a direct flight, I wouldn't necessarily say like, oh yeah, just go there for a quick weekend, but it would make a really good destination to tack onto somewhere like Mexico City. I've never been to Mexico City, but it is high on my list just because I've heard so many great things about it. So yeah, either for a TMS retreat or next time I want to go to a non-beachy Mexico vacation, I could totally see going to Mexico City for a few nights and then going up to San Miguel de Allende for a few nights and kind of combining it all into one trip. So that's another option too, if you don't just want to go to San Miguel de Allende. All right. Tell us all about Roatán, Honduras. I cannot wait to hear about it.
Well, this is a big switch because yes, It is, south of the border. It is, it's that same language, speaking Spanish, but it is a completely different when you're saying it's so quaint and quiet. I'm like, oh no, this is a resort. You're gonna
It's hopping.
This is hopping. I mean, I wouldn't say it was like, Cancun at all, where you've got like the crazy loud music from the resorts. It was still like relaxing for sure.
But
Yeah.
Roatán is hopping.
But yeah, Roatán
Roatán
is
is hopping. You've got the people giving the massages on the sand. You've got the hair braiding. You've got the music. I mean, granted, we were probably almost asleep by 9 o'clock at night, so we're not out there.
I think
but
it was
it's
quiet.
out
I
there.
think it was quiet at night. I feel like it was pretty quiet on the beach at night.
Yeah.
All right. So how did you get there?
Well, we just returned. And last time I was there, I had heard that there was a direct flight from Denver on United. Now, that is amazing. Most of the time when I am flying from Denver to the Caribbean or Central America, I've got to have a connection. It means that you need to fly a red eye or you're going to have to get up at the crack of dawn. Neither are my favorites. And so found out that on Saturdays, United has a direct flight from Denver to Roatán. It's about a 4-hour flight. So what we did is Alex came from Salt Lake City, came to Denver. We stayed at the Westin Denver International, which is literally steps from the airport. Such a great place to stay for this kind of a reason. And then we flew that morning on Saturday morning. We used points. I don't do that a whole lot on my domestic flights.
Well, this isn't domestic.
Yeah, it isn't domestic, but for any short, I call anything under 5 hours. It's my domestic. I don't usually use points. So it was $20K though, plus $5.60 for getting there, which is just a really good price. Coming back, it was going to be more expensive for me to go to Denver than Alex's flight to Salt Lake City. We paid cash. It wasn't very much. And I thought, I'll just go home with her and I'll go visit her boys for a few days. So that sounded like a perfect way to save some money and also get a little visit in. Now, when you do fly to Roatán, you do have to fill out a Honduras declaration form. That's important to remember. They do pass some out, but if you can do it online ahead of time, it's a lot easier. You get a QR code that's attached to. Did you ever show it? I don't think we ever showed it. I think it's
No.
just attached to our passports. And so we didn't have to show it. You do have to have it coming and going. And when we got to the airport to go home, we didn't realize we had to do it, but we quickly filled it out online, really easy.
So you have to do it twice. It's not like
Yes.
you do it and it counts for both. You do one before you land and one before you leave. And I think the one you do coming, you can do it like up to 5. I think you could do it up to
Yeah.
5 days in advance.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
so we could have done ours coming back, too, but we just didn't. But there were a lot of people standing there that didn't know that they had to do it coming back either. On our cash flight back to United, all those trips that I pay on United to keep status paid off because we were upgraded to first class on our second leg. That was really nice. We were really tired. We had flown to Houston. We'd had a 3-hour layover. And then we flew. It was, how long was it? About 3 hours, 3.5 hours
Yeah.
to Salt Lake City. So we were tired. So it was really nice to have that first class seat.
Well, yeah. And the nice thing too, so I flew Southwest. Don't think we'd mentioned I flew Southwest the night before. And I either paid cash or used a credit from my platinum card, like the airline incidental credit, because if it's under like $100, it'll count towards your credit. So I can't remember which I did, but I used one of those. And the reason I did that is because our flight from Denver left at 8 a.m. And I was like, I'm not going to be getting to Denver before then that next day. So that's why we stayed the night at the hotel. The other nice thing was that 20,000 points from Denver to Roatán was such a good price for that long of a flight. And I could have the time I didn't have any more United miles. I could have transferred from Chase, but my mom, with her status, if she books economy, she automatically gets premium economy for her and companions. And so I said, hey, I will send you 20,000 Hyatt points if you will book me with 20,000 of your United points. And she said, okay, no problem. Because then I could get, premium economy as well. So it worked out really nice, to have that little extra leg room.
And then we were able to go into the Capital One Lounge prior
In Denver,
to
yeah.
Denver. Super good food, didn't you think? I thought
It's
empanadas were amazing
so
that
good.
they had. And I got chocolate-covered raisins, took them on our trip. They lasted the whole trip.
12 cookies. She brought 12.
I didn't
Well, no,
know.
no. It was six. It was six. It was half dozen. But even still, I was like, these are a half dozen cookies.
But they must have some good preservatives in them because I ate some on the third night and they still tasted good. So
That was pretty hilarious.
okay, so Alex is going to start us out on the Kimpton Roatán. And I think this will be interesting because I've been there before. I want to hear exactly what her thoughts were.
Yeah. So if you've watched the latest season of Love is Blind, I personally have not, but I know Jess has. I think maybe you watched some of it, Mom.
I was watching it on the plane going there.
Yeah. Well, that is where they filmed part of season 8. So if you want to see a little bit of it, you can check that out. I will say, I think you'll get, from what you guys said, it didn't seem like they really showcased the resort much. So just watch our Instagram stories instead, where we recap. It's all saved in a highlight that you can check out. So it's an IHG property. The pricing really varies. Like, it's kind of interesting because I feel like, and maybe this could have changed, but I feel like pretty regularly you can find the Kimpton Grand Seafire and the Grand Cayman, which is one we talk about a lot, for 70,000 points. It doesn't vary too much, at least the last time I've checked. This one does. Like, I thought, oh, we're going to find nights for 70,000 points and they'll just kind of always be there. But IHG doesn't have an award chart. It's dynamic pricing. So it's relative to the cash rate. And so it can really fluctuate. And this is how this property is. It's not like guarantee, oh, I'm going to pay, 60,000 points or 70,000 points. You don't really know. So when I was doing some research, I was finding nights around like 55, anywhere to over 100,000 points a night. So it really is going to vary based off your dates and when you want to go. So kind of keep that in mind. When I think we paid 60,000, but you get the fourth night free on award stays when you have an IHG card. And so that, like, a lot of times, like with Marriott, it'll just be like you pay the price and then it says the fifth night's free. With IHG, instead of doing like, oh, I paid the full price for 3 nights and the fourth night's free, they just reduce the price of every night. And so that's something to, just remember when you're doing the pricing. If you have that card, and it's connected to your account and you're looking and it says 55,000 points a night and you're searching 4 nights, you're not then going to get the fourth night free. That's your price per night with the fourth night free taken into account. So just something to kind of keep in mind. Now, staying here, it can make sense to buy points, when they offer 100% bonus. We talked about that on last week's episode, all about IHG. So you can listen to that to kind of learn more about kind of how that works. But definitely can be an option here. You just want to see what the price is. I wouldn't say I'm going to buy points and then I'm using my points for a night that costs 100,000 points. You're hoping you can get it for, when it's in the 70,000 range or, something like that. So unlike Hyatt, they do charge resort fees on award stays with IHG. To stay here, your resort fee is $60 a night. That's going to cover snorkel gear, which is really great because the Roatán is known for its snorkeling and diving. That is what everybody is doing there. We didn't do it, but neither of us really love snorkeling. I get a little motion sick. Your neck starts to hurt sometimes.
And I've done so much of it in my life.
Yeah, I thought about it, and then I was like, if I had more time, or maybe if Mitch and my kids were here, I'd be like, oh yeah, let's go snorkeling. But we didn't end up going snorkeling. But this is a nice thing to know is I know a lot of people who are going to Roatán are diehard snorkelers and divers. They have their equipment. They're ready to go. But if you're just casual about it and you're just wanting to check it out, it's really nice to know you don't have to pay for it. You don't have to go to a rental shop. You don't have to bring it. They have it there and it's covered with your resort fee. They also have glass bottom kayaks. I don't know why they come glass because they're plastic, but but you can see through, if you want to see stuff. They do a hospitality hour, which I'm now realizing we forgot to go down and check out. But they offer like drinks and some snacks. It's usually like an hour in the evening. Is it usually an hour?
I think it's 5 to 6.
They have sunblock at the pools. They also have a shuttle that in the evenings will take you down to the West End, which is where they have like some shops and some restaurants and things like that. So that's kind of the basics about it. Now, the rooms, this is what's kind of interesting about this property. And I didn't know this going into our stay. So, and remind me at the end, if I forget, I do want to kind of compare and contrast this to the Kimpton Seafire because I know those are two people want to hear about. So just make sure you ask us.
I was already planning to grill you on that.
Okay, good. Okay, so the thing that's interesting about this property is it was an old property that then IHG bought and rebranded as a Kimpton. So it used to just be the Grand Roatán. Now it's the Kimpton Grand Roatán. And they have the buildings from the old hotel. So they have bungalows. And those bungalows, I believe we stayed in a bungalow our first 2 nights. And so the bungalows are more like inland a little bit. They're not like right on the beach. You don't really have ocean views. Maybe some of them possibly could have an ocean view. The ones in the front. We were in ones in the back and you feel like you're staying in the jungle, which is really cool. They're more rustic. They've been updated on the inside, but not like with the same decor, but they feel older. They definitely have a little bit of an older feel to them. So they have the bungalows still there. The other thing that's pretty cool about the bungalows is they do have an outdoor shower. So they're kind of set up when you walk in, they kind of a lower level with a couch with a sofa bed. Then you go up a couple steps and there's a big king size bed. The bathroom's a little smaller with, one sink, a toilet, shower. But then if you keep going through, there's also an outdoor shower, which was kind of cool. And they also have a really large patio with kind of like a couch and then a table with a couple of chairs, really large seating area. And tell me if I'm wrong on this, Mom, but I feel like they have the bungalows and it's kind of like it looks like one building, but there's actually like 2 bungalows that share a wall. But overall, the bungalows are very, very private. It was really quiet up there. Like you're just going to hear the sound of the bugs at night kind of thing. So if it kind of to me felt a little bit like glamping, staying in the bungalow. It was really cool. At first I was like, oh, I wish we had like a nice a room in the new building that's really fancy and an ocean view. And then the bungalow really started to grow on me. And I thought, some people are going to prefer this. They're going to prefer to kind of be away from the hustle and the bustle and to not be, the bungalows give you the benefit of being at a resort and now the resort amenities like the pool, the beach, the food service, the things that come with the resort, but then having your room tucked away from everybody. And the bungalows are available to book with points. Like that's what's interesting about IHG is it's not like, oh, you have one standard room that's available to book with points. Whatever you see, like we booked ocean view rooms at the Kimpton Seafire. And I believe at times, I looked before this episode and I didn't see any ocean view rooms bookable on points, but I believe sometimes you can find them for Grand Roatán.
Well, for us, we happened to be there at max capacity. They were completely full, completely different than the last time I was there. And when I was going to book, I thought, well, I did the ocean view and I looked at the bungalow pictures. I go, look at all that space. And we would have basically 2 beds because I can sleep on the pull-out sofa.
Hold on, back up though. I would let her sleep on the king. Everyone's like, you made your mom sleep on the pull-out sofa? I don't mind sharing a bed.
I'd ignore.
And yeah, so she'd rather sleep down there. And I'm like, I don't mind.
Yeah. And so what happened is that I decided that let's try something different. And then the pictures that I saw actually looked a little bit more updated than what it really was. I mean, it really was nice. It just was the rooms themselves, the exterior finishes were, not as new as the new building. And so we got in there and actually had been offered an upgrade to the Ocean View Premium King, but we couldn't get a double queen. And I thought, well, let's just go with this. And then I have my own space for sleeping. And I don't have to worry about the snoring and everything. As soon as we got in there, I could tell Alex was a little disappointed about this, not having this ocean view room. And to be honest, so was I, because it is spectacular at the Kimpton Grand Roatán. The view is very similar to the Seafire, where it is spectacular views. And so they're so nice there. They immediately text you, a couple times a year, say, how's the room? How do you like things? And I said, well, I may have made a mistake with what I chose. I know you offered me the premium. Could we maybe get that if one opens up? And they said, that they would look for us. And then a couple of days later, they said, would you rate your stay on 1 to 10, 10 being the highest? And I said, 6, but only because I don't love the bungalow. And they found us a upgrade that day. So the moral of this story is, even if you don't get that upgrade the first day, if you're willing to transfer into another room, shoot your shot, go for it. I felt like I was a little bit of a pest, but it worked out.
I don't feel like you were.
Yeah,
You
okay.
were. She wasn't a pest.
Okay.
So the other thing to keep in mind too is, so they have the new building where the lobby is, and that's where we were moved to. So we had the first 2 nights in the bungalow, next 2 nights in the Premium King Ocean View. But then they also have another building, which is where they have, like, if you're looking on the website, it'll say like essential or premium, and they don't have a lot of pictures of it. It's you're kind of like, well, what is this room? It's a little confusing. So if you're confused, I would reach out to the hotel and get more information, but I'm going to try to give you a little bit more right now. The Premium and Essential is in the original old building. So they're normal hotel rooms from what I understand, but they're in the old building. And so they have all the new finishes. They're all updated, but the outside of the building looks old. And I would guess that the bones of the inside look old too, because that's how the bungalow was. The bones looked old. It had new decor, but you could just tell that it was kind of aged and weathered. Now, I do want to just say, like, the bungalow did grow on me, and I could definitely see, like, check out the Instagram stories to get a better feel of it. It was way bigger when we moved to the Premium Ocean View in the main, like, newer building. It was much more modern, much brighter. The views were amazing, but the room was a lot smaller, much, much smaller. And we could hear people in the hallways, people opening up their doors next to us, their shower running. If you value privacy over a fancier room, or you value space, then I would go for the bungalow, because the privacy you're going to get there, and like it's just more quiet and kind of just has a really special feel to it, I think, then you might want to choose the bungalow. I would probably go for the Premium King Ocean View again. Well, I would, but I would also be fine if I did stay in the bungalow. It wouldn't be terrible. I'm just a sucker for an ocean view. Like, to me, it just kind of like makes me feel relaxed and stuff to just look out there and see those ocean views. So that's kind of my thoughts about the situation there. The grounds are beautiful. It is so lush, so green. It's interesting. So it's along a nice strip of beach, really nice beach. It's got a really big reef, so there's no waves. It's really calm, feels very safe. There's restaurants and other hotels along the strip, but the Kimpton by far looked the nicest, by far. It was kind of fun because you see families, locals out there enjoying the beach, the vibe. It felt very family friendly. It felt safe. We saw so many local families out there, especially we got there on a Saturday. And so there was a lot of locals out. There's guys walking around with big sticks with cotton candy. It just like had a really fun, positive, happy vibe there. So we really liked it for that as well. Now, Yeah, so there's lots to do along the beach. You can get a water taxi to take you to the West End, which, to go shopping, go eat down there. There's restaurants you can go eat along. We liked one. What was that called again?
It's Ahari.
Ahari. It's
at the Cara Hotel.
And the hotel is tiny. It's maybe a 5-minute walk down the beach. The hotel is so small, but it's such a cute, it's all outside. You're just eating outside underneath the palm trees with the view of the ocean. It's just so cute and super good pina coladas. They were really, really good. We actually got one at the hotel and at our hotel, the Kimpton. And I ordered, I was like, because they have a lemon frozen lemonade on thing. I was like, they had to have brought me frozen lemonade. This is not this is not pineapple and coconut. This tastes citrusy. And so I'm like, well, whatever. And so my mom orders one the next night. She's like, yeah, that had to be the wrong thing. Nope, that was their pina colada. So if you like a traditional pina colada, wouldn't get one at the hotel. We got it from, what's it called? Something cat.
Sea Cat.
Sea Cat. But that's where they make all their poolside food. So I wouldn't get one there. So go down to Ahara and it's really, really good.
So we did say we were there at max capacity and I wasn't there.
And it was just the first.
It was really the first night.
First day, yeah. Once we got over the weekend, it wasn't way more chill.
And I'd say that definitely affected our stay the first day. And we could not, it was so hard to find a chair. And I hadn't had that experience before. I mean, we were down there at 8 o'clock or so, and we barely were able to find something down on the beach. I don't think they have as many chairs around the pool area as they could put there, but they do have 2 areas on the beach. And so we were able to finally get something. That was definitely kind of a little miss compared to the first time. The other thing is that I feel like they still had the same amount of servers serving as they did when I was there before when it wasn't max capacity. And that just was a little hard for being at max capacity. We had to wait longer to even get water.
Well, the big issue, going back to the finding a seat at the pool or by the beach. So they have the seating at the pool. They have one main pool. And then they have down below, it's right on the beach. And it's at the end of the beach. And then it kind of has a curve where it kind of feels like you're in a little cove almost. And then it's rocky cliff with all this greenery and palm trees. It's so, so pretty. And so you kind of have this nice privacy. It's a little quieter because it's at the end. But, and then they have 2 sections of beach chairs where, they set up the chairs, the umbrellas, the towels. You can order food there. It's really, really great. But the thing is we're it's so, they'll help you find a chair. They're very friendly, very nice, very helpful. But they're oh yeah, it's been busy since 6 a.m. Just come. The guy told us, just come down at 6 a.m. tomorrow and drop off your towel. So they were encouraging people to just leave their towels. So that was the issue. It wasn't that there was a jillion people down there. There was a jillion towels set out with maybe a book, maybe even nothing. And it was just
10 people in 50 chairs.
Yeah, so it was just really frustrating. So they should not be allowed to just set their stuff down there and be gone for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Then a couple of them did say, oh yeah, well, you can leave your stuff for an hour or 2, right? That's what they were saying.
And
it's
they never did.
But they didn't enforce anything. So it's okay, well, no one's sitting here. Can we sit here? So that was a little frustrating, but thankfully we only had to deal with it the first day because then that wasn't as crowded the rest of the trip. So it was just kind of the weekend, and it kind of sounds like they are a lot busier because the hotel's only about 2 years old. And so I think it's just, and there's not, on that island, there's not other really chain hotels. So if you're wanting something familiar, most people do know, oh, IG, Kimpton, that's something I know. Everything else there is not, it's not like you're going to find a Hyatt there. I don't even think there is a Marriott there.
I'm also guessing now that Love is Blind has been filmed there, things might get a little more crowded.
Yeah. Yeah. So we did go to the spa one day. That is, what is it?
This is what's funny. They're ranked in the top 13 spas. I'm 13's a random number. I'm going to guess you guys were number 13. But it truly was an amazing spa. They have an outdoor infinity pool, and then they have these viewpoints where you can walk down and see like just amazing viewpoints. I was very impressed with the spa.
Okay, so I want to tell you what my thoughts were as a returning guest. It is a great place for family. There are lots of family, lots of kids there, lots of couples there. If you love snorkeling, if you love scuba diving, you're going to love it there. Just, it was max capacity a little bit, but that didn't really affect us. I love Roatán. I love the feel. I love the vibe there. I love the colorful buildings. It feels more lush, more green than even Costa Rica to me. I
And it has
100%
the crystal, it has like the clear
yes, crystal clear
water.
water. So 100% is a place I will return to. But Alex, I want to know what your thoughts are about the resort, having been a first-time visitor and also comparing it to the Seafire, which I know you absolutely love.
Yes.
Don't get into the Seafire yet because I want to ask you
well,
a.
Okay, I'll save on that. So I loved it. I would gladly go back here. The nice thing is there's a lot of rooms, but it's not some giant sprawling massive resort like, the Grand Hyatt Kauai or something. It still is, I would say size-wise, it's very comparable to the Kimpton Seafire.
Mhm.
So where it's like you have a pool and then you have the beach and you have the beach service and it's all right there. So very similar. I will say one thing to me that kind of was a miss was twice at breakfast, and we were only there 4 days, was I got my food, like my omelet. So, with my mom has diamond status, so we got free breakfast. It's only free breakfast for two. And
good breakfast.
really good buffet breakfast. And if you wanted to pay for it, I believe it was $30. I'm assuming kids would be cheaper, but that was the adult price. But they have made to order omelets and other like pupusas. But what would happen is, you have to go and you have to order your omelet, and that takes a minute. And I'd get back and be eating my food, and I still wouldn't have any water. And so I'm like, I'm someone who has to drink while I eat. And so we'd have to find someone and get their attention. They were super nice and friendly. They just kind of were some misses with things like that, with service just taking a little bit longer. And we kind of both were thinking maybe they just were a little understaffed. More people than they could all kind of serve, because everybody was super friendly. So yeah, I would totally go back. I thought it was beautiful. I really loved it.
Okay, this is a question for both of you.
Yes.
If you had to choose, if someone said for the rest of your life, you can only go back to either the Kimpton Seafire or the Kimpton Grand Roatán, which one are you choosing?
Roatán.
Yeah.
I like Roatán. I like the island better. I don't think that both resorts are beautiful, but there's just more to do on Roatán. I think there's more of a cultural feel. I've been to Grand Cayman before off cruises. I didn't like Grand Cayman to begin with as an island, so I just like Grand Cayman because I like the Seafire Resort. So for me, 100% Roatán.
Yeah, I would choose Roatán too. I will say I do think the service was better at Kimpton. The rooms were bigger, but the decor is a little, it's more my style. Like our room at the Kimpton Seafire was way bigger than the room we had at the Kimpton Roatán.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it was just because of the room that we had. So, but yeah, I agree with my mom. The Roatán just feels like you're in the jungle a bit, but you're still on the water. And it does have like that fun feel on the beach where, people are selling stuff, but it's not annoying. I feel like sometimes when you go to Mexico, it's a little more pushy sometimes. And it's not like, I didn't feel like it was like that. They're just out there asking people they want stuff. What was really fun, which we didn't do because we didn't have money with us, which they will take dollars. What I found interesting was a lot of people, most everybody spoke English for the most part, and a lot of them didn't even have accents. I was like, did you come from, the US? Because there are a lot of people who do move from the United States to Roatán. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. But what was cool is they have people in little canoes, and they're in their canoes going around and selling stuff from their canoes to people either coming down from the beach to buy from them or people out in the water. So one of them, really wish we would have had our cash with us because we really wanted to try this. But this lady was selling full pineapples she'd open them up and then kind of cut up the insides and then would drizzle sweetened condensed milk over it. And you would just eat your pineapple, like the cut up pineapple with sweetened condensed milk over it, out of the actual pineapple.
That sounds so good.
It looked so good. I was really bummed we didn't have money and didn't get that. So,
Okay. So Alex, are you still choosing Roatán even if you were bringing your 4 boys with you?
yeah, because I think they would love the snorkeling. And that's the other thing too, is like Grand Cayman has some snorkeling stuff too, but their beaches are similar where it's not like you're going to be boogie boarding. And my kids love to do that. And so because the snorkeling's better in Roatán, I think they would love that. The other thing that's kind of cool, I'd be too scared to do this, but at nighttime, people will be out there snorkeling with flashlights because different creatures come out at night. And so like from our hotel room, we could, once we moved to the ocean view room, we could see people out there snorkeling with, like, we would just see lights out in the water of people snorkeling with flashlights. And I thought that was really cool. And so, yeah,
Not doing it though.
no,
Ever.
I don't think I could do it. Maybe, I don't know. If I was really, I could do it from like, as long as I was only like up to my knees. It's so not too hard. I probably wouldn't see
Is
much.
that really snorkeling? That's just putting a
Right?
flashlight into the water while you're standing there.
That's more like it.
All right. Well, now I really have to get to the.
You do have to.
Because I love Kimpton Sea Fire, but I am like you, Pam, and that I prefer a more like cultural, lush destination versus like just a pretty beach. I mean, Grand Cayman is beautiful, but it's kind of like, yeah.
Yep, go try it. Let us know what you think. If you need somebody to go with you, I know 2 people who would.
And I know 2 people who have lots of IHG points too, so it's
There
a
you
win-win.
go.
So I hope you guys all know I don't do winter. I don't love winter. I want to get out of winter as much as I can. And with the help of Points and Miles, it can be warm all year round. I love this if you know where you want to go. We hope we've given you some inspiration for your next adventure. If you're ready to get started on your Points and Miles journey, make sure to register for our free webinar, How to Get Your Next Vacation for Nearly Free. We'll link it in the show notes.
Thanks so much for listening to Points Talk with the Travel Mom Squad. Make sure to hit the subscribe or follow button from wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. Want to start jet setting even faster? Follow the links in the show notes to learn about everything we discussed in today's episode. And to stay connected and follow along, follow us on Instagram at Travel Mom Squad. We can't wait to see where in the world Points and Miles take you.